My tom mic that I'm using today is an AKG 414. This is probably my favorite tom mic of all time because of its frequency response. It's very full-bodied. It negates a lot of the frequencies that I would normally negate in a mix, so it's doing that job for me. And it has a very special function called supercardioid that could be activated with this toggle switch over here. And what that does is, when I'm putting the microphone over the tom, this capsule is active, but this capsule is rejecting more so on this side than it would at a regular cardioid state. Now, the reason why that's important is because there are cymbals over the toms. And when a drummer does a roll and hits a cymbal as an exclamation point to that roll, that cymbal's over the tom, and I would have to gate it in the mix or cut the tail off, and I don't really like doing that because it's sort of unnatural. The supercardioid function rejects that cymbal bleed much more effectively and naturally than I could in post. So it's a really good way to sort of get the sound you're looking for at the end in the recording stage. Also, a great function of this mic is its size. I could put it over the tom more parallel than I could with any other mic, and it's also not big enough where it would cause a problem in terms of being an obstacle for the drummer. Now, underneath the tom, I'm going to be using the Neumann KM44. I don't typically mic the underneath of a tom because I feel like the 414 does a great job of picking up that tone and the body, but for demonstration purposes I will be miking the bottom of the tom. It's important to know though that when you are miking the bottom of any instrument, basically if you're using two mics on the same source, you're going to have to flip the phase, because this microphone is capturing the sound coming off of the tom this way. This microphone is capturing the sound coming off of the tom this way. So two opposite directions require opposite polarity. Now, if you can't find these mics because they're a little expensive, this mic is probably the most famous tom mic of all time. It's a Sennheiser 421. The only reason why I don't like using this mic is because of its size and the capsule placement, which is right here. So in order to get more parallel to the drum skin, I have to place it like this or like this or like this. And this is a tall boy, so the drummer is definitely going to hit it. And if the drummer is wild, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing because wild drummers can give you a great performance, I don't want them to feel hindered by the size of this mic. I don't want them to pay attention to any of the mics. And I also don't want to ruin a good take by the drummer hitting a microphone. And if a drummer hits a microphone, you know, it could ruin the vibe. Now, here's the tall boy. Here's the small boy. This is a Shure Beta 98. They don't come much smaller than this, and this is a great sounding tom mic. It comes with a clip. You clip it onto the edge of the tom, and there's no way a drummer is going to hit this. And if they do hit it, you need a new drummer. And you're also going to need a new mic. If you can't find any of these microphones, the workhorse of the studio, Shure SM57, this sounds great on toms. They're easy to find. You don't have to do much manipulation to them to get them to sound good, and you'll sound great. So don't feel pressured to get a fancy mic. These work just fine.